So, Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, the saga continues, the hype goes on. Will they, won't they fight? Well, like I said before, and I keep on saying, I believe this fight is already signed and a done deal. A lot of people would say, well, what's your sources? I guess sometimes in this journalistic world, you've got to go with your gut. And I go with my gut. I haven't spoken to anybody. I haven't even decided to reach out to anybody about this one. I've just gone with my gut on this one. And I believe this fight is signed for a number of reasons. I believe that now is the right time for this fight to happen. People say, well, the fight should happen back in 2009, 2010. Well, if you're a business person, you want to make the most money that you can generate from a fight. And if you took the fight in 2009, 2010, both Mayweather and Pacquiao are not the household names, worldwide names that they are now. Both Mayweather and Pacquiao fought the who's who of boxing, let's be honest, in their weight division. And it's only fair now that these two get together and fight. Mayweather now has shifted from HBO over to Showtime, which gives him more influence and power, I guess. The MGM is basically his home in Las Vegas. And like I said, this fight is so big now that even if Bob Arum tried to do it, I believe that I think that they would even make moves to try and buy Manny Pacquiao out of his contract. Those are just my thoughts. This is not anything, buy him out his contract and have the last two fights of Mayweather's career be Manny Pacquiao 1 and Manny Pacquiao 2. Now, if you imagine that, and the money they used to buy Manny Pacquiao out of his contract with Bob Arum, and Pacquiao could sign off with 2 fights of Mayweather. I mean, think about that. Why would you want to fight anybody else after you fought Mayweather twice? Maidana fought Mayweather twice, and I don't think he's in any rush to come back and fight. And, Manny Pacquiao fights Mayweather twice. And if one fight's worth people talking about it being $1 billion fight, whatever. I mean, the fight's a good fight. I mean, it doesn't work out if both guys or one guy gets poleaxed in a few rounds. Well, then it could do. I mean, Lennox Lewis got poleaxed in a few rounds by Hasim Rahman and then came back and beat Rahman. So, if anybody turns and says to you, these two guys, it's washed up and, they shouldn't be fighting anymore and blah-de-blah-de-blah. They're talking rubbish because at the end of the day, Mayweather's still on top of his game and Manny Pacquiao everyone still believes Manny Pacquiao is the man to beat Mayweather, even now. People say, well, back in 2009, Manny Pacquiao was better. He was unbeatable then. But the question mark you've got to ask yourself even then, and you have to ask yourself the question around the 2009-2010 mark where Manny Pacquiao was knocking people out and dropping people, there was a question mark about whether he was using PEDs. Mayweather brought it up. And since that time, Manny Pacquiao has not been scoring the knockouts that he has been scoring. Of course, Alex Ariza as well has left the Manny Pacquiao gym. We'll talk about the magic juice. So there'll always be question marks about that part of Manny Pacquiao's legacy, whether you want to accept it or not. We don't know if that's true or not, but we do know one thing. Since Manny Pacquiao and the whole thing about Mayweather fighting him and the Olympic-style drug testing, since that has been spoken about, Manny Pacquiao's performances have not been the same in terms of his dynamic knockout power. Even Algeria, he dropped. He couldn't knock out. If you look at the same Manny Pacquiao that wiped out Ricky Hatton with that power, dropped Sugar Shane Mosley, beat up a larger Margarito. I just think that there was something going on at that time in his career. And of course now Manny Pacquiao has been knocked out by Marquez. Some Manny Pacquiao fans will tell you that it was a mistake. Manny wanted that to happen. Manny didn't want that to happen. It was hurt Manny Pacquiao more than people probably accept, because him being knocked out by Marquez, I think put the fight back. Because then Manny Pacquiao had to come back and rebuild his career, I think. And the Timothy Bradley fight didn't help either. I think the Timothy Bradley fight, for me, I predicted that Bradley would beat Manny Pacquiao, and exactly how I'd beat him on points. I believe that fight was fixed. I said it before and I'll say it again. And I think it was Bob Arum basically saying to Manny Pacquiao, "You think you can leave me? Well, you know what? I've got more control of your career than you think. So, you know what? I'm going to job you on the scorecards." And, you know, everybody saw blatantly that Manny Pacquiao wanted to fight against Bradley in the first time round. But Arum was just basically pulling one of his stunts as he does. And I just believe these are my thoughts again. I just believe that, you know, Manny has been in a contract with Arum. I don't know what sort of contract he's got with Arum, but he's gone and re-signed with Arum, who a lot of people will tell you is not really doing Manny Pacquiao any favours. Why would you go back and re-sign with somebody who's not doing you any favours unless they've got some dirt on you? Now, this fight is so big now, and so many people are involved with it now, that it can't. Arum has no. I don't think Arum's got much power in this situation. And if both networks have decided to say, let's get this fight on, if the backers of money, the big money people who are behind Mayweather as well are saying, let's make this fight happen. Manny Pacquiao wants to make the fight happen, and Manny Pacquiao hasn't got the sort of prestige that he did have and bragging rights that he did have because of his loss to Marquez and his loss to Timothy Bradley. For those people who said, well, the fight shouldn't have happened back then maybe the fight should have happened back then. But Manny Pacquiao got knocked out and got beat by Bradley on record. Now, you heard me say already that Bradley did not beat Manny Pacquiao the first round, even though on record it says that. So that would have affected his marketability. So if you're going to blame anybody for this fight not happening, don't blame Mayweather. Go back and blame Manny Pacquiao. I'm not saying that Mayweather is innocent in this. I'm not saying that, not for 1 second. But what I am saying is, from what you can see, what you can visually see, Manny Pacquiao's marketability, when him getting beat by Bradley and him getting knocked out by Marquez in the way he did, even though he's winning that fight, that has affected his marketability. And I think that he's been told to go away, build up your career to a point where, you know, people want to see the fight with me and you, and we'll fight. That's what I think's happened. I think the fight has been, it's already signed. I think now it's just publicity. Just publicity. The whole, I mentioned before, the Foot Locker commercial. Go look it up, where Manny Pacquiao is turning saying he signed to fight me. He's signed to fight me. And he's jumping up and down in the Foot Locker commercial. And then since you've seen Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather meeting, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, they swapped telephone numbers in a hotel room." Come on, man, get out of here. You're telling me these two guys have never swapped telephone numbers before this point? They have not swapped telephone numbers and not talked about this fight beforehand. And when 50 Cent was walking around Manny Pacquiao, that Floyd didn't have his telephone number. Come on, man. Are you guys that stupid? I just think the fight's signed. I just think it's a free publicity and free promotion for a fight that gets announced in May. Where are we now? The fight will probably get announced in February. Some people say the Super Bowl. I mean, this is just as ridiculous as Superman versus Batman. That's how bad this is at the moment. I'd be surprised if the fight was announced the same day Superman and Batman was announced as a trailer. I mean, you know, that's the way I see it. I could be completely wrong about it, and so what if I am? But in a world of conspiracy theories, you can put my name in there with that. But I tell you what is really fascinating, and this is something for YouTube challenge. For those out there that have probably been around a lot longer than myself and have a better gauge of the boxing YouTube community, this would be my challenge. Which YouTube channels do you think will fall foul or will be extinct after the Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao fight? I.e. those channels that love Floyd Mayweather, or those channels that love Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd or Manny can do no wrong. What channels will disintegrate after this? Because I've said before in my previous video called Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, the end of the world. I believe this is the end of the world for these guys and these die-hard fans that worship Floyd Mayweather. Not Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. I'm not talking about I'm talking about worship. I'm talking about see them as gods. That they act, they walk, they talk and act like Floyd and Manny Pacquiao, you know, and they feel that they are boxing. You can't talk about boxing unless you talk about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. They've built their whole media empire on Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. They have, all you do is Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao. That's all they talk about. So when if Floyd were to get destroyed or Manny Pacquiao were to get destroyed, what would these media outlets look like? And do you know the media outlets? I mean, I don't know any, to be honest, because I don't really look at it that way. But it'd be interesting to see how many are around and how many YouTube channels will fall from grace. And all these people have made their predictions from way back, saying who would win the fight. You've got enough time now as YouTube listeners to go around and start looking and seeing, you know, who would, which channels would flunk. It would be interesting. I think it would be quite funny as well. The sad thing about this is people do take these fights a bit too seriously, this fight in particular. And I also think that there will be people committing suicide as well. And I'm serious about this. This is not joking matter. I think this is very serious. And that's why I call it the end of the world, because this fight means more than just two guys fighting. There's race in this, you know, a black guy against a Filipino guy. You know, there's religion. There's all sorts of things that are tied up into this fight. Political. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, you know, Floyd wins the fight. Is he the best ever in the welterweight division? Well, no, because people say if he beats Manny Pacquiao, they say, well, Manny Pacquiao already got knocked out by Marquez. You know, well, if Pacquiao beats Floyd, they'll say, well, you know, Floyd was, you know, come to the end of his career anyway. So really and truly, this fight, the hype, yes, great. The build-up, great. Regardless who wins this fight, none of the fighters are going to get the credit they deserve. Look, here's an example. Tyson Lewis. When Lewis fought Tyson, it was like, oh yeah, Lewis has got to fight Tyson. Mike's going to knock Lewis out. Blah, 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 blah. The fight is made. The two guys get in the ring and fight. Lewis knocks Tyson out. What do I say? Tyson was past his best. Tyson would knocked Lewis out years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, even when Lewis fought Holyfield, oh yeah, he should fight Holyfield. Oh yeah, well Holyfield's an old man. He's an old man, and then he's this and he's that, and Lewis beats him, and then so there's two examples there of big fights that have come together. Two big fighters have come together, and the fighters don't get the credit they deserve. You know, De La Hoya, Mayweather, another example, big fight. People say, you know, De La Hoya and Mayweather, De La Hoya should have won the fight, blah, blah, blah. I still think Floyd won the fight. But they don't give Floyd the credit that they fought De La Hoya at light middleweight. Yet they turn around and say De La Hoya got destroyed by Manny Pacquiao, who, when he came in the fight, was weight trained. I mean, you know, so I don't think fighters get the credit they deserve. I don't. So those are my thoughts. It'd just be interesting to see how many YouTube channels actually fall apart after this, how many media outlets fall apart, how many boxing experts get exposed after this. You know. But and you know, the funny thing is, I will end on this point. I made this post the other day on my Twitter page. It is funny. I make a prediction and everyone's ready to say, you got it wrong. Fine, I get it wrong. But how many of you actually go back and listen to the same experts week in, week out, who constantly get their predictions wrong? How many times you then retune in and listen to what they got to say and call them experts as well? You know, I think sometimes boxing can be a bit cockeyed. People don't really see things for what it is. What makes an expert? A guy that gets all his predictions right, or a guy that sits in front of a television with a microphone attached to him and just saying he's an expert? I don't know. Right, I think that's it. Those are my thoughts. Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm sure the fight's a done deal. I'm not going to get cock teeth for all this. It's going to happen, I think. Let me know what you guys and girls out there think. I'm out.